Handup or TASCO? These two companies stand out above the rest as making awesome gloves that look great. But which is better for you? Let's talk about it. Hey guys, Josh here with Daily Mountain Bike Rider, and today we're talking all about gloves. And not just mountain biking gloves in general, but two companies who have really sprouted up over the last couple of years that I've seen all over the trails and all over YouTube that I think are making some of the best gloves on the market. And those two brands are Handup and TASCO. Now, I'm sure you guys have probably heard of these brands by now if you're watching this video, but if you haven't, other YouTubers like Brian from BKXC and Alex from the Single Track Sampler ride with Handup, and then other guys like Phil Metz, who is Skills with Phil, and Jeff Lanowski, who is a pro rider for Giant, ride TASCO. These gloves are everywhere. They look very similar, and if you don't know the difference, it's even hard to tell. So the real question is, what is the real difference between these gloves? Now, some of you realize that I actually am an ambassador for TASCO and ride for this company, but I'm a good person to make this video because before I went and told TASCO that I wanted to partner with them, I looked at both these gloves and really considered which one are the superior gloves, and my hope is that you will see why I chose TASCO and why I still think Handup is a super valuable option for a ton of people when it comes to gloves. So without further ado, let's compare these suckers. First up, what makes these two glove companies different than every other mountain bike glove maker out there on the market? And a great example of that is the Fox Dirt Paw. This is a glove that I think is one of the most popular for mountain biking, and I rode for a long time. And while at first I thought this was the only glove I would ever need, after a couple washes the material started coming apart, and the biggest thing was this dang Velcro strap always came undone, and even now never seems to stay on there very well. It had a lot of padding and seemed to fit my needs, but it wore down, it didn't feel very great on the bike, and I didn't know if I needed all this padding on here. And then companies such as Giro came around, and they made gloves that didn't have Velcro straps that slipped on, but they still had a little bit of padding, and they had some pressure points, and it felt like it was still missing something. And that's where these two glove companies really filled a void that most of us didn't really realize we needed. And what they did was they made really awesome, neat designs out of gloves, and they stripped away everything you didn't need in a glove and left what was the one thing we all really want. And that thing we want is, we want our hands to be covered in case we fall or something bad happens, and we want enough protection on our hands that we don't get hot spots, and also we don't get blisters or calluses or long-term wear on our hands. And so what these gloves did is they left super airy backs on the gloves and then just one layer of synthetic leather that connects us to the bike. But what is the difference between these two gloves? And I think there's 5 main factors to look at. The first is overall fit of the glove. The second is the feel of the glove on the grips. The third is the padding in the glove, which I kind of talked about but is important compared to other companies. The fourth is the style of the glove, and last but not least is the overall brand of the glove. First up is fit of the glove. My hands are a size large, and that's pretty consistent over any gloves that I wear. Looking at the Handup glove, the glove fits very tight and is pretty snug around the midsection of my hand. And when I stretch it out, which is really the test, right, when your hands are stretched out, even though you don't do that too much on the bike on your grips, I feel that there's pressure on my middle finger. Now looking at the TASCO glove, it fits my hand very well and there's hardly any pressure points and it flows really well. But the second thing with fit is gaps on your fingers. No two people's fingers are all the same lengths, and so sometimes there's some looseness at the ends of fingers. Now both these gloves, both the tight-fitting Handup and the more standard-fitting TASCO, there's a little bit of gap on the pinky, but I would say the most is on the Handup. So the fit is pretty similar, but it is a little different as far as snugness and length of your fingers. Now, second category is feel, and this is a really important category. As far as bar feel, and I have a grip right here that's pretty sturdy on the inside, but I would encourage you to go out on your bike to really feel. Both these gloves do a good job of not having too much padding and not having a ton of soft spots. Now, I do feel a little bit on the Handup and the TASCO. There is a little bit of a hot spot on the outside of the grip, but it's nothing that's different than any other glove out there. Another important thing on feel is all about wrist feel, right? Is how much coverage you have on your wrist, and does the glove feel like it's gonna fall off, or is there too much air on your wrist, or is it enough? And you'll see the TASCO glove comes down a little bit further on the wrist, but really I feel both are adequate, and when I flex left and right, when I go way back on my grips or push way down, they both feel really great. Third thing is padding. Like I talked about earlier, these gloves don't have any padding except for their synthetic leather grips. And I think that is the best thing about them. It took some getting used to because I was so used to wearing gloves with padding, but I realized just like a good work glove or a good gardening glove, you don't have extra spots where there's a bunch of wear on your hands. You just need a good, like hardcore withstanding layer to protect your hands. So these do great in not having a ton of padding, but having what you need. Fourth is style. And I mean, come on, just look at these gloves. They're pretty dang stylish. Now, TASCO is pretty cool in this specific pair where they have two different patterns on each glove, but Handup also does that. And Handup's gloves are pretty unique in that if you put the center palms together, they do spell out different messages. Like this one says America. But overall, the styling of these gloves is second to none. I mean, they stand out as being really great looking and working really well. Now, another thing on the style, and it's little things that you should notice, is the Handup glove has this kind of cloth material that they say is like a wipe your nose cloth or a soft material for your goggles if you have enduro goggles. And the TASCO gloves do have a little bit of a grip here protecting your thumb from your handlebar, but besides that they're very similar. Thin backs, leather bases, and they have a different material on the inside of your fingers. This one is a little more breathable from TASCO, and this other one is a little more like spandex for the insides. But overall, the styling of both these gloves is really, really great. And last but not least, and this was the most important to me and really what I came down to, is branding of these companies. If I'm honest, both these gloves work really well. They fit great, they have what you need, but the brand that supports these two gloves are both very, very different. Handup, to start with, they primarily make gloves. They also make neat little beer koozies that are brown paper bags. They make hats and other things. But their branding is all about making really great gloves. But the other thing they're known for is they're unapologetic about it, is they're all about drinking and partying, right? So you've got a grip on a handlebar, you've got a beer bottle in a koozie, and you've got the Handup logo. And even on the front, right, it's bars and beer. Like they're all about mountain biking and drinking. And to be honest, that's most of the mountain biking community, and so there's nothing wrong with that. But that's kind of what they do, and they don't really do additional things. They may in the future, but they don't for now. TASCO, on the other hand, is really unique in the fact that TASCO actually stands for the Awesome Shirt Company. They started as a company that made awesome shirts and transitioned into a mountain bike company, and they make a ton of stuff. They make really cool socks, they make hats and shirts, obviously, as they started there. And the real thing that drew me to TASCO, and the reason I picked them, is versus Handup that's focused on partying and beer, and all you have to do is follow them on Instagram, and half their posts are about drinking and half their posts are about mountain biking, is TASCO is all about the mountain biking community. They're all about supporting their riders, whether it be racing or just the average person. They're all about giving back to the mountain biking community, and whether it be their Instagram post or their websites, they're all about making mountain bikers have a better experience out on the trail. That's why they make really great socks that I'm not even mentioning or talking about too much that really solved a lot of issues for me with my mountain bike shoes. But overall, when I look at these two glove companies, I have to be honest and say, I don't think you can go wrong as far as the glove fit and feel goes, but I do think at the end of the day, you really have to ask yourself, which company do you want to back? And I don't think there is a wrong answer. For me, TASCO is the obvious right answer, but for some of you, you're gonna be all about Handup. They're both gonna do great on the trails. It's just who you wanna know is behind you as a company. All right, that's it for me, Josh from Daily Mountain Bike Rider. Thanks so much for watching this video. At the end of the day, go to your local bike shop, try on some Handup gloves, try on some TASCO gloves, check out their websites and their social media and see which company is gonna be better for you. But regardless of what you do, get out there and ride your bike. And make sure you do it every single day so you can get better at riding every day.